Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I made some progress on one of the pieces that I started last week. The other one is less progress was made. But I don't know. I feel good about where this piece is going. It's not done, but you'll see. It's come a long way. So yeah, honestly, I don't have a ton to say going into it. I've got some commentary throughout the entire thing, but let's just roll the time lapse and I'll tell you guys what I've been working on. Alright, so I didn't make much progress during the week. On Friday, I took in this sketch I did in Procreate and dropped it into Photoshop and started going at it. So what I'm doing right now is just kind of refining a lot of the details. It's not, I guess that's the wrong way of putting it. There aren't a lot of details in it yet, but I'm just clarifying what everything is, right? Trying to figure out the way this monster is going to be positioned on the tree. Yeah, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the head, and I end up sort of just making something generic out of it. I'm doing a little bit of shading on everything, just clarifying the form of the monster, and then honestly, the day's work kind of finished up with this sketch at the bottom bit. I thought it would be the most complicated, part of the monster, because it's I don't know, it's the end. It's kind of a design challenge, and I wanted to have lots of these limbs everywhere, which has been the goal with this thing from the start. So anyway, yeah, this is about the day's progress. So we're going to check in on what I was doing Saturday morning, coming right up. Okay, it is 9:30 on a Saturday morning, and this is not where I thought I'd be. But here we go. So, the shapes of these trees in the background are just too... This one's barely anything yet, but it's already too much of yeah, it's too symmetrical. The curve of the spine, I like it here, going around the tree. Kind of nice. It goes around back like this. I feel like this makes sense based on the way that, this part makes sense based on the way that it's draped over the tree, right? But then it's gotta kind of bunch up here and then come out underneath, which just doesn't make sense. And while this monster is kind of an anatomical nightmare, I don't think I can get away with more than one spine. I don't think that it's not. It just needs to all connect, right? You've got to have something for your eye to follow. Well, anyway, it just throws me off. I gotta figure that out. So yeah, Saturday morning, I had a lot of energy. I don't know why. I just woke up spontaneously, kind of early, and then decided that the best course of action was to get super caffeinated and hit this thing with everything that I had. And you can see I expressed some general discontent with the composition. You can see I'm actually reorganizing now in a pretty radical way. And I'll actually continue to do that the rest of the piece. I'm referencing the sheet I did in the first video, as well as a bunch of photos in pure rough. And then also the thing with the spine. I don't know if I've actually fully solved that quite yet. I'm actually thinking of removing the exposed spine portion because back muscles are actually cool, and I think that might make it less sort of stereotypical, monster-y, and then I don't have to do the whole skull thing for the head. I'm still not exactly sure. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna keep sort of writing myself notes throughout this process, as you'll see. You can see I'm focusing on the composition a lot right now, experimenting with foreground elements. Those bright orange lines, obviously I didn't intend to keep in the final piece. They're just serving as I'm just noting where the big shapes are and where they're pointing to and how they're assisting the composition. So yeah, big experimental phase. Saturday morning, I just kind of went in for it, trying to figure this out, and then I got these big, like wavy tree branches, kind of, going a bit more stylized with it, and I really liked the direction that was going, so I stuck with this shape for the tree for the most part. And you'll see I actually, yeah, there we go, mold the monster around one of these tree branches to make the pose a little bit more believable. And I think that makes it a little bit more creepy. Instead of like levitating in the air or whatever, like holding itself up magically, it's actually kind of like creeping around this branch and like peeking out at you as if it like thinks it's hiding, but it's obviously not. So anyway, yeah, with that big compositional change out of the way, I'm starting to draw out all the limbs, and boy, this took a while. The recording's actually playing at 8,000% speed right now, which is, what is that, like 80 times faster than it actually took me to do it. All the footage for this video is actually about like 5 hours and 40 minutes, and I'm still only on the sketch, and that's not including the time it took me to do external thumbnails and other design work and reference gathering that I didn't record. So anyway, this is a big one for me, and I'm excited about it. Something interesting is happening now. I'm redoing the lighting. You can see I put this sort of like this white circle and cone, which is indicates the direction of the light source I want to portray, and I'm blocking in a bunch of shadows in black, and I'm actually going to end up using that practically. I'm going to use some blending modes and some hue saturation specifically on the shadow layer, to make it look a little bit better, adjust things, and just really define the lighting here. I didn't originally intend to use the block out as a base, and I'm obviously still going to modify it a bunch because it's not totally accurate. It just was supposed to give me a good idea of the direction I wanted the light to be coming from, but it did end up being super useful, and blocking things in pure black like that actually was it just made everything really easy to see, so I could make those decisions, and have it be like obvious for me and low stakes. I'm doing some sketches trying to figure out what the design of the head is going to look like. I still haven't solved that problem, at least at this point. So that's actually going to be a big goal for what comes next. The next video is going to be a lot of reference gathering. I'm going to try to figure out like the story of this monster, what details I can add to tell that story, what design elements I can include, and what needs to change with the current design. Basically, like what are the little things that I'm going to be adding throughout as I render that are really going to make this thing convincing. I'll do some reference gathering for the forest as well, try to get the setting right. I swear to God, add a foreground and detail the background a little bit more just to give a better sense of setting. But that is all coming in the future. So for now, this is what the piece looks like. This is the progress I've made since the last video. I'm going to show you some of the sketches as well, the thing I did for the last one in case you missed that video, and the 2 thumbnails that I started out with, the second one being the one I chose for the final piece, for the base of the final piece. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope that was interesting. I hope you learned something. I'm going to be traveling a lot. American Thanksgiving is coming up, so maybe not a video next week. I'll try really hard. If there is one, it'll probably be more of like sketches and other pieces and stuff, but we will be returning to this piece, and I will be rendering it out to a final, and I will be bringing you guys along with me very soon. I promise you. If I don't, yell at me. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.